Walt Disney's Disneyland.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are.
Each week as you enter this timeless land, one of these many worlds will open to you. Frontierland, tall tales and true from the legendary past. Tomorrowland, promise of things to come. Adventureland, the wonder world of nature's own realm. Fantasyland, the happiest kingdom of them all. Presenting this week, the Disneyland 4th Anniversary Show. And now your host, Walt Disney.
Not very good, is it? You know, seeing this old piano reminded me of the time when it played an important part in one of the studio's most exciting adventures. One of our great modern composers, the late Sergei Prokofieff, played his musical fantasy for me on this very piano. That was a long time ago, back in 1938. As I remember, Fantasia was in production, and we were working on Pinocchio, too. The days were filled with meetings and story conferences, and we were all working under pressure to meet our picture deadlines. One day, my friend Rudy Polk, vice president of an important talent agency, called me. Around the rock down there before Jim comes into the scene.
Yes, he's here just a minute.
With the flauto. Yeah.
Walt?
Yeah?
Rudy Polk.
Rudy!
Listen, I know you're busy with Pinocchio, but I have a man here, a composer, I think you should meet.
Well, Rudy, we're still finding the story, and we haven't got around to the music yet.
Walt, the composer is Sergei Prokofieff. And he had you in mind when he wrote this new composition.
Sergei Prokofieff.
That's right. And he says you're the only man to do his Peter and the Wolf for films.
Well, that's wonderful, Rudy. When can you bring him out to the studio?
How's today?
Fine. I'll be seeing you.
Good.
Remember, this was back in 1938, and we were in our old studio, and we were terribly crowded for space. So when Mr. Prokofieff arrived and wanted to play for me, I had to scratch around to find a piano. Here's a room. I'm afraid it isn't much for piano, though.
Don't worry, Walt. It'll do.
To make matters worse, Mr. Prokofieff spoke very little English, and of course, I spoke no Russian.
Each character has a musical theme. The one he just played was that of Peter the Boy. Now he's going to play the theme of the bird. And now Sonia the duck. Cat? And now he's going to play Grandfather's theme.
The wolf.
our story really begins when Peter disobeys his grandfather and goes out to hunt the wolf.
And that's how it was. And as he played, he told us the simple, charming story of Peter, the little peasant boy, and his hunt for the ferocious wolf. I remember how his fingers flew over the keys of our battered old piano. How his face glistened with perspiration as he concentrated on the music. And all the time I could see pictures. I could see his lovely fantasy coming to life on the screen. Fate had other plans for us. The war turned our studio into a military reservation. All our facilities were devoted to making films for the war effort. Insignia for submarines, planes, ships, and tanks. Training films for the Army, Navy, and the Air Force. With victory, we put aside our wartime activities. Training films were forgotten, and we went back to the job we knew and liked best, entertainment. Naturally, Peter and the Wolf was one of our first projects. That's the story of our old piano and of the great composer who played it one day a long time ago. You've just seen our cartoon version of Sergei Prokofieff's Peter and the Wolf. However, Prokofieff isn't the only great composer whose music lends itself to the cartoon medium. There are others, such as Rimsky-Korsakov.
Hi.
Hi, Cubby. That's Cubby O'Brien of the Mouseketeers. Later, Cubby, okay? Now, when we began our production of the musical feature Fantasia, one piece Tchaikovsky had written particularly appealed to us. We felt... Excuse me. Cubby, I don't think you understand. I'm talking to our Disneyland audience.
Fine. It's okay, kids. He's just sitting on the desk talking. Come on. Boy, Mr. Disney, hey, Bobby, but it's very, very important. How very important.
Hold it! Now listen. What is this? I was just sitting here talking to the audience when, oh, these are some more of the Mouseketeers. Annette, Bobby, Darlene, Karen, and Cubby. Now, boys and girls, I'm afraid you'll have to excuse me. You see, I was just telling the people about the famous composer,
Tchaikovsky.
Tchaikovsky, right. Now, I've already done the first half of the program, so I've got to get along and do the other half.
Wait
a minute, hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Now, look, you've got your show, right?
Right.
I've got my show, right?
Right.
All right, now you go over there and sit down.
Wait,
Where are you taking me?
Over to the Mouseketeer stage, Mr. Disney.
Come on. What about the audience?
We'll wait. Come
Well, thanks, but how come? This isn't my anniversary.
Well, not technically, but it's the 3rd anniversary of Disneyland. Yeah, Disneyland is 3 years old. Going on 4. So we thought we'd throw a party. Right, gang? Right! Now, if you'll just sit right over here, Mr.
Now, wait a minute. I've got a show to do.
Well, so do we. We've got a show to do for you.
Well, thanks very much. I appreciate it. But look, I've got the Disneyland show to finish, and if I don't get back to my office, there won't be any show.
We understand perfectly, Mr. Disney. This will take just a few moments of your time. Ready with the curtain spin?
Anytime.
In 3 short years on Disneyland, we've seen almost every kind of show. You brought us everything from Donald Duck to Peter Pan, safaris in the tropics and adventures in the snow. The whole world opened up before our eyes. Each Disney show revealed a new surprise. In Fantasyland, we met a chap. He didn't have much beneath his cap, but he has personality. He's as fun there as he can be.
I do the super goofy shuffle to keep myself in trim. Nothing's hard, my friend, if you know how. You also do the super goofy shuffle whenever you the whim. And I think I got the whim right now.
With Robin Hood and his merry men, he rode through Sherwood's forest glen. We cheered him as he raised his bow and watched his trusty arrows go.
The story of Robin Hood. I wish that I met Robin Hood before he made Marian. 'Twould be much more exciting than just being a librarian.
In Tomorrowland, we took some looks at the wonderful world of science books. We saw what marvels are in store when the atom opens up future's door. Get to our complete satisfaction, you explain atomic chain reaction.
Atomic chain reaction?
Yes! Atomic chain reaction! Then came a night we never will forget. Sat down in front of our TV set, turned on the show and big as can be. There on the screen, who do we see? Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier. Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier. One wonderful evening for a lark, he showed us Disneyland, the park, and there before our eyes unfurled the wonders of the Disney world. We got a date tonight at 8, so meet me down on Main Street. Please don't be late, don't make me wait, just meet me down on Main Street. We'll take a ride on the old horse car. I'll buy you a chocolate bar, and you'll be the sweetest girl by far down on Old Main Street. Zip, 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 zippity-doo-dah, zippity-o. Disneyland has been a lifetime show. Answer the question, where do we go? Zippity-doo-dah, oh, 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 won't you tell us what's in store this year? Mr. Disney, oh, Mr. Disney, where do we go?
Well, thank you, Mouseketeers.
Now, what are we really gonna see on Disneyland this year? Yeah, what's the inside story?
Well, let's see. We're going to have some more Donald Duck and Goofy epics.
Oh, I'm
And, of course, we're going to explore outer space again. We're going to Mars and beyond this time.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And there's still a lot of fascinating places left on this old Earth of ours, so we're going to visit some of them.
Oh,
Check.
And then there's a very special fellow you're going to meet.
Who's that?
His name is Andy Burnett.
Andy Burnett.
Well, a very fine writer by the name of Stuart Edward White wrote a series of classical adventure stories about Andy Burnett.
When did it all begin?
Hold it there, Walt. Let me tell him. You know, Andy Burnett happens to be a particular favorite of mine.
Okay, Fess, it'd be a lot better coming from you.
Thank you, Walt. Well, kids, the story started a long time ago. Andy Burnett was a frontier boy from Kentucky who inherited Daniel Boone's rifle. As he grew up, he moved west across the country. In a way, the story of Andy growing up is the story of America growing too. The times were gone that he once knew, endless woods and the sky so blue, the trails no man had trod before, the wilderness at the cabin door, the urge to know where the rivers flow, the freedom to up and pack and go. Lucky for us, a few men yet remember the saga of Andy Burnett. Andy's on the move, and he won't rest. Andy Burnett, he's a traveling west. He won some friends and made his place with mighty men of a mighty race. They took him in to teach him more of mountain life and mountain lore, the laws of trails and trapping streams. The danger is not what danger seems, lessons to learn and not forget, all part of the saga of Andy Burnett. Andy's on the move, and he won't rest. Andy Burnett, he's a traveling west. Andy Burnett, he's a traveling west. Jerry, come on in here.
Hi, Fess.
Hi, Jerry. Folks, I'd like you to meet Jerome Cortland, who from here on is going to be better known as Andy Burnett.
Hi.
Congratulations, Jerry. I want to say that I hope that Daniel Boone rifle does for you what the coonskin hat did for Davy Crockett.
Thanks, Fess. Thanks a lot.
Tell me, are there any ladies in the cast?
Well, Fess, with the mountain men, the most important gals are the ladies in the sky.
Ladies in the sky?
Sure. That's what you'll hear me and the mountain men singing when we're riding down the trail. Boys?
Blow the wind from the mountains, ladies proud and high. Blow the wind from the mountains, ladies in the sky. No lover ever had a sweeter dream than I remember by a mountain stream. Lost my heart to the mountains, there I want to roam. Going back to the mountains, where I feel at home. I will be faithful until I die. I will always be faithful to those ladies in the sky.
That's swell, Mr. Disney. Only then what happens after the saga of Andy Burnett?
There'll be the story of Johnny Appleseed, and then you'll meet some interesting cartoon characters, Little Toot and Susie the Little Blue Coot.
What about Zorro?
And you're going on a very unusual sea voyage called The Wake of the Kukui.
Gee, that's... What about Zorro?
Zorro? As a matter of fact, I don't think I should talk about him. You see, confidentially, Zorro won't be on the Disneyland show. Well, Zorro's an entirely separate series, on the air at a different time. Time. Oh, excuse me, I've got to go.
Wait,
All right, hold it. Just a little about Zorro, then you've got to let me get back to my own show.
Okay.
Well, a long time ago, there was a masked rider who rode the countryside. This was in old Spanish California, back in the days of high adventure and low, soft guitar.
Out of the night, when the full moon is bright, comes a horseman known as Zorro. This bold renegade carves a Z with his blade, a Z that stands for Zorro. Zorro, the fox so cunning and free. Zorro, who makes the sign of the Z.
And that's the little bit I promised you about Zorro.
Boy, oh boy, was Zorro a real person?
I'm afraid not, Moochie. You see, Zorro's a mythical character. He's something of our imagination. What's that?
That's your imagination.
Señores y señoritas,
Zorro.
at your service. As you say, perhaps I am only a part of the imagination. I remember that's what they said about me in California. Some would smile and say, Zorro, poof, he's a ghost, a dream, a myth, something of the imagination.
Look out! Watch out, Zorro!
So you see, my friends, it is entirely a matter of opinion. This is a personal thing between you and me. Whether I am real or not is for you to decide, each of you in your own mind and heart. Meantime, till we meet again.
Sign of Zorro.
Party's getting rough. Besides, I got to get back to my show.
Wait a minute, please. You can't go now, Mr. Disney. We haven't had a chance to give you your present.
Present? Well, I have time for that.
Here, Mr. Disney.
Thank you. What is this?
Well, it's sort of a book about Oz.
Oh?
Well, it isn't exactly a book. It's more of a shooting script.
Shooting script?
I guess we'd better explain the whole thing to you.
Yes, I think I'd like that.
Are you comfortable?
I'm comfortable.
Well, it's like this, Mr. Disney. The studio owns all the Oz stories, right?
Right.
And we've got to think of our future. We can't be Mouseketeers forever. Yeah, we're not getting any younger. We thought if we could do the Oz picture for you, that maybe you'd let us...
Now, I'm going to make a picture out of the Oz stories, but I always figured to make it as a cartoon.
When? Takes you 7 or 8 years to make a cartoon feature, doesn't it?
Well, you got me. What's your proposition?
Well, first of all, we'll take most of the weight off your shoulders. We'll handle the songs for the pictures, the dances, sketches, right? Right!
What about money?
Well, we figure in an artistic production such as this, money is of secondary importance, right?
Right. I don't know what I'm saying, but go ahead.
On the off chance we could get you to listen, we've prepared a couple of samples. Nothing very elaborate, you understand, just rather informal. Now, here you see are some of the characters in our story. First, the Scarecrow. Remember the problem he had getting a set of brains? Well, in our story, he has trouble keeping them. Here's a happy little character. Dorothy meets her in Oz. She's called the Patchwork Girl.
Nice sketch. What happens with her?
Well, in this little scene, the Patchwork Girl meets the Scarecrow for the first time. Bobby is the Scarecrow, and Doreen is the Patchwork Girl. patchwork quilt. Sew and stuff with cotton, add some yarn for hair. One thing they've forgotten, a heart I do declare. But who needs a heart? Not me, I swear. Patches, patches, when you're made of patches, life's a gay and giddy holiday. With laughter and song, I'll go dancing along my happy little patchwork way.
Organdy, silk and crepe de chine, tweeds and plaids and crinoline, Turkish towel and taffeta too, purple and pink and baby blue, velvet and satin and linen and lace, shoe button eyes and a muslin face, a calico head with cotton brains, they'll shrink, I think, if it ever rains. Jiminy, criminy, criminy, Jiminy, what if it rains? Corduroy poplin and percale, looks like a walking rummage sale. Brags and tags and ribbons so bright and gay. With laughter and song, she'll go dancing along her happy little patchwork way. With laughter and song, she'll go dancing along her happy little patchwork way.
Now here, Mr. Disney, is a sketch of Ozma, the beautiful lost princess of Oz. Annette is going to play the part. I think she'll be wonderful. And here's the lovable old cowardly lion. Trouble is, he isn't so lovable anymore. When he becomes the king of Oz, an awful spell is put on him. This makes him cruel and conceited. Now, when Dorothy, the girl from Kansas, arrives in Oz, she and her friends try to break the spell by giving the lion a song and dance that Dorothy calls Oz Can Hop. A dance part Kansas, part Oz. Take the beat, 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 all the Kansas rain. When it's tapping out the rhythm on your window pane. Then from Oz you get a tune that just won't stop. Mix them up, man, you got the Oz Can Hop. Take the walk of the lion, he's the king of Oz. Add the wiggle of the woozy as he claps his paws. Take a pinch of Kansas cyclone, sprinkle on top. Mix them up, man, you got the Oz Can Hop. Did you ever dance a Kansas square dance? Alpha do and Oz quadrille. The combination makes the right dance. Oh, it's Kansas and it's Oz, the best that ever was. Makes you feel so happy, my oh my. Like a Kansas celebration on the 4th of July. Believe me, once you start it, you won't stop. Come and do the Oz Can Hop.
Okay, Mouseketeers, you've earned it. We'll take a flyer on Oz.
You mean you're gonna let us do the movie?
Widescreen, color, everything?
Everything, the works.
Oh, are you sure?
I'm sure.
Okay, ignore the cake now.
Up we go, the rainbow-covered skyway. Up we go, the rainbow road to us. See it glow, the quilty-colored highway. Up we go, to reach the land of Oz. Off somewhere, far away. Once you're there, you may decide to stay. Daydreams grow, there beyond the byway. Up we go, the rainbow road to Oz. 2 by 2, hand in hand, wandering through a golden wonderland. Side by side, singing down the highway while we ride the rainbow road to Oz. Up we go, the rainbow-covered skyway. Up we go, the rainbow road to Oz. See it glow, the quilty-colored highway. Up we go, to reach the land of Oz.
It's a swell party, Moochie. You only forgot one thing.
What's that?
Mickey Mouse isn't here.
Huh? Here I am, Walt.
Well, hi, Mickey. I didn't see you come in.
Oh, I've been here all the time. Great bunch of kids, aren't they?
Sure are. Suffering cats, I've got just time enough to do the trailer for next week's show. Hold the fort, will you, kids?
Once you're there, you may decide to stay. Daydreams grow, there beyond the byway. Up we go, the rainbow road to Oz.
Next week, our program from Fantasyland goes back into American folklore to tell you the stories of 4 fabulous characters. Here now are some scenes from next week's show.
Next week, Walt Disney turns to American folklore to tell you the stories of 4 fabulous characters. With Dennis Day singing and narrating, you'll hear the heartwarming story of Johnny Appleseed.
The Lord is good to me, and so I thank the Lord for giving me the things I need, the sun and rain and an apple seed. Yes, he's been good to me.
You'll meet Johnny's guardian angel, too. And what an angel! You'll see Johnny braving the wilderness, alone and unafraid, planting his seeds, befriending the animals, and transforming the land with his flowering apple orchards. Then Jerry Colonna takes you to explore the romantic days of railroading, the dime novel days of train robbers, black-hearted villains, frantic heroines, and brave engineers. Jerry tells you the exciting story of the bravest of these brave engineers, Casey Jones.
Get on! Get on! Hey, Casey, here comes the freight.
The King's men take you to the foothills of Kentucky for the saga of the most famous feud of all time.
When the wedding gun is good, it was bound to end in shooting.
And you'll see how, at long last, this famous feud was ended by Dan Cupid. Or was it? From the galaxy of our fabulous characters in the field of sport, Jerry Colonna tells you about the most spectacular failure baseball has ever known. Casey at the bat.
And now the leather-covered spear came hurtling through the air, and Casey stood watching it in haughty grandeur there. Right soon. Air is gone from Casey's lip. His teeth are clenched in hate. He pounds with cruel violence, his bat upon the plate. And now the pitcher holds the ball. And now he lets it go. And now the air is shattered by the force of Casey's blow.
So be with us next week when Walt Disney brings you Dennis Day, Jerry Colonna, and the King's Men to tell you the stories of 4 fabulous characters.